I am Neil Larthos. I am the next Abdullah. You are the next Neville Goddard. Your SP gets wet every single time they think of you, and your bank account makes Jeff Bezos look homeless. Time travel to manifest your specific person. Okay? So this video is going to be about how you can go back in time and change things about your past, which will ultimately manifest your SP. Okay? No, this does not mean you have to get a time machine. No, you do not need the fucking infinity gauntlet and get all the stones and then come back and snap your reality back into place. Although that would be really good. By the way, I hear the Doomsday trailer is coming pretty soon here, folks. But what this means is basically what Neville Goddard talks about of revision, okay? So what is revision? Basically, revision is the reality that when you go in your mind and you think of a memory in the past, you are actually reliving it right now. Whether it's good or bad, traumatic or happy, if you are remembering when you used to get, picked on at school by a bully, if you can still feel the punches, if you can still feel the embarrassment, the shame, the hurt, the pain, the sadness, you are experiencing that right now. That's why it is important for you to move on, because the more you keep going to that, the more you are manifesting more of that in your past. You can actually manifest a new bully in your life if you keep thinking of the old one, because your subconscious does not tell the difference between real or not, between now or then. And therefore, it will keep giving you what you keep going to. So it's okay if you maybe think about it once or twice, but if you keep replaying that, eventually your subconscious is going to be impressed because you don't know how to uncheck it, and then boom. Next thing you know, you're getting beat up in an alley, and it's the reincarnation of your bully from middle school, okay? So how do you revise, right? Well, I've always said, whether it's an imaginal act in the future or whether it's a memory, they are all the same video format, okay? So the same way that you would imagine a 5-second first-person perspective imaginal act of you being with your SP in the future is the same way that you can go in your past and whatever it is you want to revise, think about the first image that pops up in your head when you think of that memory and change it to something that you want, okay? So a very popular one, your ex. Maybe you're trying to manifest an ex back, okay? Because after all, this is time travel to manifest your SP, right? Think of the breakup, okay? I don't know what the fuck happened to my nose there. I think the cocaine's really hitting me. Think of the breakup, okay? Think about how it ended. You could go back and tell yourself that the breakup didn't happen, or maybe it was an ugly breakup. You can say that it ended on better terms. I think an interesting one to try this with would be to tell yourself that the breakup didn't happen, because especially if you are living in your end of you guys are married for 70 years and you guys are in the rocking chair and she's like, I want you to rock me, and stuff like that, then either ways you guys are in the relationship, right? It never fucking broken. It never happened, right? Unless this is someone who really treated you like shit, then I personally would not even advise you to manifest this person back, because I don't give a fuck how strong revision is. I don't think it's worth getting back with somebody who treats you like shit, me personally, especially when there's so many. I would rather just tell you to manifest somebody who's 20 times hotter and 1 million times more respectable. But either ways, that's just me. You can do whatever you want. Revision works either way. But if this is a person who you still think is worth being in a relationship with, I would just simply imagine that the breakup never happened, okay? Or if it makes more sense to you in your imaginal act, I would go back and think about when she had the conversation with you, like, hey, we need to meet up, and you guys meet up at the fucking pasta joint, and then instead of her saying, I think we should see other people, or I'm moving to Alaska, who the fuck wants to live there? Just imagine her saying, I think that we should move in together. I think that we should take a little break. But then imagine another memory where she's like, you know, she calls you 2 hours later and she's like, actually, I made a mistake. Come over, and then you guys fuck each other's brains out, right? You can do that. The point is, because imaginal acts are the same video format as your memories, all you got to do is go to that video and change it to your liking. That's all you're doing. The same way that I've taught you guys how to imagine, and yet the same rules apply. Make sure it's in first person perspective. Do not watch your memories over in third person, because what's going to happen is you're going to manifest a scenario where you're watching the same thing happen with your SP but with somebody else. Okay, so don't do that. Go back to the exact same way that it felt. And that's the thing that you have an advantage of. When you have a memory, you can kind of remember somewhat of what it felt like, especially if it was traumatic, right? I can still remember to this day how it felt like when my first girlfriend in high school broke up with me. Jump scare, guys. You know what, let's take this off. I can still remember that, right? And so you have that advantage, right? So all you got to do, like, okay, I can use that as an example right now. I remember we were standing in the hallway under the stairs at a high school, by the way, that was just down the street right here, okay? And I remember that whole week she was just dissing as fuck with me, right? Dissing as fuck. Now, back then, even though I wasn't extremely in tune with relationship advice and red pill stuff, it didn't take a fucking rocket scientist to know that it was fucking over, right? So she was not even making eye contact with me. She was facing fucking south. I was facing east. And she was just, she had her back against the wall. And I was just doing this thing where I, you know, because she was shorter than me. And I was like, you know, look, I just need you to tell me one thing. Do you even still want to be in this relationship? And, you know, even thinking about the way I said it was, do you even still want to? When you ask it like that, you're almost like forcing her to say, well, you know what? If you're going to say it like that, no, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. But that was the first time that she actually made eye contact with me in months. She literally looks at me. She's like, no, not really. And then I just say something like, oh, okay. Well, I appreciate you, you know. And then I gave her a hug and then I walked away, right? And I remember feeling like shit that whole entire time. But there was also a feeling of closure that I felt. So you see, if I wanted to revise that, right, and I wanted to revise it to us never breaking up, because we've never been under those stairs for any other reason. I think that was the first time we were ever in that spot, right? I could just simply go up to her and imagine that instead of her not making eye contact, I'm leaning over and she looks at me, she smiles, she kisses me, and she says, I love you, right? And then she says, I can't wait to give you my anniversary gift. And then boom, right? Because especially if you can remember what she was wearing, right? Your subconscious is going to be like, wait a second, isn't this when you guys broke up? And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? This is when she was going to give me, you know, fucking a dildo for, wait, why the fuck is she going to give me a dildo? wait, pause. What the fuck? This is when she was going to buy me a fucking Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas. I don't fucking know. Okay? Again, your subconscious it doesn't understand fetishes. You could even say that she was getting me a dildo. Your SP buying you a dildo is better than her breaking up with you. Okay, granted. Again, I do not like taking in the ass, guys. So let's cut that out. But I don't want to edit this video. So too late, Neil. She's buying you a dildo. Okay? You tell yourself that your SP was going to buy you a dildo for the anniversary gift because she's kinky as fuck. And, you know, even as I'm saying this right now, the fact that I just made this... Guys, you're actually catching this in real time. I literally just went back to when we broke up right now. Because I never wanted to manifest this SP ever. Like, when I got out of that relationship, I got into a relationship with a girl 10 times hotter than her. And I gotta be honest with you, I could give two shits if my first girlfriend ever came back. But just the fact that it was such a traumatic experience because it was my first breakup, and the fact that I went back there and imagined that when I was leaning over and she was not looking my way, and now I saw in my past that she made eye contact with me and we kissed and she said, I love you, and she said, I want to buy you a dildo. Two things happened. One, now I can't get that out of my fucking head because I'm too fucking, like, amazed that she's going to buy me a fucking dildo, right? And then now I'm thinking of another imaginal act where she says we should try BDSM. And then it's like this whole fucking thing where, like, my first girlfriend was like the most kinkiest bitch ever. And all of a sudden I'm like this master of fucking 50 Shades of Grey, right? So now I'm probably going to remember my first relationship as one of the most educational sexual experiences of my life that I will never forget, right? And she'll probably be on the podcast, you know, explaining how amazing sex we have, and that it was Hall of Fame legendary, that we will never forget, right? I actually felt my subconscious impress just right there. And you see, what do I talk about, you guys? If you can make it obnoxious and crazy is better than neutral and boring. Okay? Don't just say, I'm love, I'm perfection. No, my ex never broke up with me. We are together. No, say that if anything, my ex wanted to get married when she invited me to that pasta place that she broke up with me. No, she actually said, I want to get married, and in a year from now, I love you so much that I want to fucking renew our vows. Even quicker than it takes for you to be required to renew your fucking license. That's how much I love you, right? Or she wanted to have a serious conversation about how she heard that you were flirting with other girls and that she doesn't want you to be doing that behind her back because she loves you so much and she's starting to get jealous. Make it where she's chasing you, right? But you just saw me do that, guys. I literally went back in time, went to my first breakup, went to the hallway where I was leaning against the fucking wall, and she has her back against the wall looking away from me, and I was basically forcing her to look at me. Where in this one, she looks at me without me having to lean in, and she talks about wanting to buy me a dildo for Christmas, and now we have the best BDSM relationship ever. So that's how you do it, guys. Make it a 5-second imaginal act. The longer you make it, the better at risk you have of entering into your TikTok brain. So make it short, make sure it's in first person perspective, and that's it. You change your memories. And you can do this with traumatic events that happened in your past, okay? You can do this with anything, okay? But just know that whatever you put in your subconscious and whatever you impress it with, like you just saw me impress my subconscious right now. Like literally, I wasn't even trying to think of another imaginal act, and now my imagination was starting to say, oh, well, after that, she probably would have started talking about BDSM because she used to wear chains on her. She had a kind of gothic edge to her. I guarantee she would have loved fucking BDSM. We never talked about that. But literally, I just went to the reality where we were talking about BDSM. Isn't that interesting? That's how it works, guys. Until the next one, folks, I am Neil Lartos. This is all that the I'm Awareness had to say, and I know you're going to be okay.